Chapter 46, The Mirror of Echoes. After leaving the mysterious Temple of the Whispering Suns, Tobian and Nivara journeyed eastward, where the desert gave way to rolling hills covered in lush greenery. The landscape gradually transformed into a misty forest, its ancient trees towering high above them, their leaves shimmering with an otherworldly glow. The air was thick with moisture, and the sound of distant, echoing whispers filled the air, as if the forest itself was alive with memories. As they ventured deeper into the forest, Nivara could sense the magic of this place. It was a land of reflections and echoes, where the past and present intertwined, and where the boundaries between reality and illusion were blurred. This was a place of deep magic, where even the smallest actions could have far-reaching consequences. Nivara knew it was time for her to change once again, to align herself with the forest's unique energy. She closed her eyes and let the forest's magic envelop her, her form beginning to shift. Her sandy golden hair darkened to a rich, deep green, like the leaves of the ancient trees around her. Her eyes became a striking emerald, glowing softly in the dim light. Her skin took on a pale, almost translucent quality, like the surface of a still, reflective pool. Her gown transformed into a flowing robe of deep forest green, adorned with delicate silver patterns that shimmered like dewdrops. She had become the spirit of reflection and illusion, a guardian of the forest's secrets. Tobian watched her transformation with admiration. "You've become one with the forest, Nivara. This place feels like a realm between worlds, where the past and present merge." Nivara nodded, her voice echoing softly through the trees. "This forest holds many secrets, Tobian. It is a place where echoes of the past linger, and where reflections reveal truths hidden from the eyes." As they ventured further into the forest, the mists grew thicker, and the echoes became more pronounced. They soon found themselves standing before a large, crystal-clear lake at the heart of the forest. The lake's surface was perfectly still, reflecting the surrounding trees and sky like a flawless mirror. Even the smallest ripple seemed to create echoes that reverberated through the air. "This is the Mirror of Echoes," Tobian said, his voice filled with awe. "It's said that this lake reflects not only the world around it but also the souls of those who gaze into it. The echoes of the past and future are said to be held within its depths." Nivara approached the edge of the lake, her reflection staring back at her from the surface. As she gazed into the water, she felt a strange sensation, as if the lake was not only reflecting her appearance but also her thoughts and memories. The echoes of her past resonated in her mind, merging with the present. "The Mirror of Echoes is powerful," Nivara whispered. "It can reveal the truth of one's soul and the paths that lie ahead. But it can also show illusions, reflections of what could be or what has been." As they stood by the lake, the air around them began to shimmer, and the surface of the water rippled slightly. From the mist, a figure emerged, a reflection of Nivara herself, but with subtle differences. This reflection seemed older, wiser, and carried an aura of sorrow and determination. Tobian stepped back, surprised by the sudden appearance of the figure. "Nivara, what is this?" Nivara studied the reflection, her eyes narrowing slightly. "It's an echo of a possible future, Tobian. The Mirror of Echoes is showing us what could be if we continue on our path. But remember, the future is not set in stone. This is only one of many possibilities." The reflection of Nivara spoke, her voice a haunting echo of Nivara's own. "I am what you may become if you allow the weight of your journey to consume you. The power you wield is great, but so too is the burden that comes with it. The choices you make will shape not only your destiny but the destiny of those you encounter." Nivara met her reflection's gaze, unflinching. "I understand the weight of my choices, and I will not let them break me. I will use my power to protect those I care about and to bring light to the darkness. The reflection nodded slowly, a faint smile touching her lips before she faded back into the mist. The surface of the lake stilled once more, reflecting only the serene beauty of the forest. Tobian placed a reassuring hand on Nivara's shoulder. We must be careful, Nivara. This forest is filled with echoes and reflections that can guide us, but they can also lead us astray. Nivara nodded, her resolve strengthened. The mirror of echoes has shown us what could be, but it's up to us to choose our path. We must continue forward, with clear minds and determined hearts. As they left the lake behind, the forest seemed to shift around them, the mist parting to reveal a narrow path lined with glowing mushrooms and ancient stone markers. The echoes in the air grew softer, more distant, as if the forest was guiding them toward their next destination. The path led them to a hidden glade deep within the forest, where an ancient stone archway stood, covered in ivy and moss. The archway hummed with magic, its surface etched with runes that glowed faintly in the dim light. Beyond the archway, the air shimmered with an ethereal glow, as if the very fabric of reality was thinner here. This is a gateway, Tobian said, examining the runes. It leads to a place beyond this world, a realm of reflections and echoes. Whatever lies beyond, it will test us in ways we've never been tested before. Nivara stepped forward, her new form attuned to the magic of the archway. We have faced many challenges, Tobian, and this will be no different. The forest has guided us here for a reason, and we must see it through. Together, they stepped through the archway, the air around them shimmering as they crossed into the realm beyond. The world shifted around them, the forest fading into a landscape of swirling mist and light, where reflections danced like living beings and echoes whispered secrets long forgotten. In this strange and wondrous place, Tobian and Nivara knew that their journey was far from over. The mirror of echoes had shown them a glimpse of what could be, but it was up to them to shape their own destiny. With Nivara's new form aligned with the magic of reflections and illusions, and Tobian's unwavering determination, they prepared to face the trials ahead, knowing that each step they took would bring them closer to uncovering the ultimate truth of their journey. Chapter 47, The Shifting Labyrinth. As Tobian and Nivara stepped into the shimmering realm beyond the ancient stone archway, the air around them grew heavy with the weight of magic. The swirling mist that had surrounded them in the forest now condensed into solid shapes, forming a vast labyrinth of shifting walls and corridors. The walls seemed to be made of translucent glass, each surface reflecting countless possible paths and outcomes. Nivara, sensing the need for a new transformation, closed her eyes and attuned herself to the labyrinth's ever-changing magic. Her deep green hair gradually lightened to a silvery white, like the glow of the moon on a clear night. Her eyes, once emerald, now mirrored the labyrinth's reflective surfaces, becoming pools of liquid silver that shimmered with every movement. Her gown transformed into a flowing robe of pale blue, adorned with delicate patterns resembling the intricate paths of the labyrinth. She had become the embodiment of adaptability and foresight, a guide for navigating the maze of possibilities before them. Tobian watched in awe as Nivara's new form took shape, her appearance perfectly suited to the challenges of the labyrinth. "This place is unlike anything we've encountered before," he said, his voice filled with wonder. "The walls are constantly shifting, and the reflections are confusing." Nivara nodded, her voice soft but clear. "This labyrinth tests our ability to adapt and see beyond the surface. Every path reflects a possible outcome, but only one leads to our true destination. We must trust our instincts and move forward with confidence." As they ventured deeper into the labyrinth, the walls shifted and rearranged themselves, creating new pathways and closing off old ones. The reflective surfaces seemed to come alive, displaying scenes from their past adventures, as well as visions of futures that could have been. Some reflections showed them succeeding in their quest, while others hinted at possible failures and challenges yet to come. At one point, they encountered a dead end where the walls closed in around them, trapping them in a small, reflective chamber. The reflections in the walls showed different versions of themselves, each one facing a different challenge. One reflection showed Nivara struggling against a dark shadow, while another depicted Tobian standing alone in a barren wasteland. "We need to focus," Nivara said, her voice steady. "These reflections are meant to distract us. They show us what could be, but not what will be. We must find the true path forward." Tobian took a deep breath and closed his eyes, trying to block out the confusing images. He reached out with his magic, sensing the energy of the labyrinth. Slowly, he began to understand the patterns of the shifting walls, the subtle clues hidden in the reflections. "There," Tobian said, pointing to a section of the wall that seemed to ripple slightly. "That's the way out. The wall isn't as solid as it appears. It's an illusion." Nivara smiled, her silvery eyes gleaming with approval. "Well done, Tobian. Let's move quickly before the labyrinth changes again." They pressed their hands against the rippling surface, and the wall gave way, revealing a new corridor that led deeper into the labyrinth. As they continued, the paths became more complex, the reflections more intricate. The labyrinth seemed determined to test their resolve, presenting them with increasingly difficult choices at every turn. At one particularly treacherous intersection, the labyrinth presented them with 3 paths, each one leading to a different outcome. The first path showed them walking through a peaceful forest, the second depicted them standing before a grand temple, and the third revealed a dark, stormy sky filled with ominous clouds. Nivara studied the reflections carefully, her eyes narrowing as she tried to discern the truth. All of these paths could be possible futures, but only one will lead us to our goal. The others are illusions meant to mislead us. Tobian focused his magic once again, sensing the subtle differences in the energy of each path. He could feel the pull of the labyrinth, trying to draw them into one of the false paths. But there was something different about the third path, the one shrouded in darkness. It felt more real, more grounded in reality. "I think we should take the third path," Tobian said, his voice firm. "It may look ominous, but there's something about it that feels right." Nivara nodded in agreement. "Sometimes, the darkest paths lead to the greatest rewards. Let's trust your instincts." They stepped onto the third path, and as they did, the stormy sky above them began to clear, revealing a starry night sky. The walls of the labyrinth became more transparent, allowing them to see further ahead. The path twisted and turned, but it no longer felt as confusing or disorienting. As they continued, they reached the heart of the labyrinth, a vast, open space where the walls faded away entirely. In the center of the chamber stood a large, ornate mirror, its surface gleaming with an ethereal light. The mirror was framed with intricate carvings of mythical creatures, and its surface seemed to pulse with magic. "This is the heart of the labyrinth," Nivara said, her voice filled with reverence. "The mirror of choices. It reflects not just our past and future, but the essence of who we are. To pass through it, we must confront our true selves." Tobian nodded, understanding the gravity of the moment. They approached the mirror together, their reflections appearing on its surface. But instead of merely reflecting their current forms, the mirror showed them as they truly were, every fear, every doubt, every hope and dream laid bare. The mirror presented them with a final challenge, to choose the path that would define their future. As they stood before it, Tobian and Nivara knew that this choice would shape not only their journey but their very destinies. With a deep breath, they reached out and touched the mirror's surface, their reflections shimmering and merging with their true selves. The mirror's light enveloped them, and the labyrinth around them dissolved, leaving them standing on the other side, in a world of infinite possibilities. Together, they had passed the test of the shifting labyrinth, and as they stepped forward into the unknown, they knew that their journey was far from over. But whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, their bond stronger than ever before. Chapter 48, The Valley of Whispering Stones. Emerging from the heart of the shifting labyrinth, Tobian and Nivara found themselves on the edge of a vast valley, where the land stretched out in rolling hills of green and gold. The sky above was a soft lavender, the sun low on the horizon, casting long shadows over the landscape. The air here was different, alive with whispers that seemed to come from the very ground beneath their feet. Nivara, sensing the valley's ancient magic, knew it was time for another transformation. She closed her eyes and attuned herself to the energy of the place, allowing the magic to flow through her. Her silvery white hair darkened to a deep, rich auburn, the color of the earth after rain. Her eyes turned a shade of amber, like the warm glow of the setting sun. Her gown became a robe of earthy browns and greens, adorned with delicate vines and tiny flowers that seemed to grow from the fabric itself. She had become the embodiment of the earth's whispering secrets, her new form perfectly in tune with the valley's ancient magic. Tobian watched as Nivara's transformation completed, marveling at how seamlessly she adapted to the magic of each new place they encountered. "You look like you belong here," he said, his voice filled with admiration. "This valley holds many secrets, and I have a feeling you'll be able to unlock them." Nivara smiled, her amber eyes reflecting the warmth of the valley. "This place is ancient, Tobian. The stones here have witnessed countless stories, and they are eager to share their knowledge. We just need to listen." As they descended into the valley, the whispers grew louder, forming a chorus of voices that seemed to echo from every direction. The stones scattered across the landscape were not ordinary rocks, they were ancient, weathered monoliths, each one inscribed with runes and symbols that glowed faintly in the twilight. Some of the stones stood tall and proud, while others lay half buried in the earth, their surfaces worn smooth by the passage of time. Tobian approached one of the larger stones, running his fingers over the intricate carvings. "These runes are ancient, even older than the ones we've seen in the labyrinth. They tell stories, of battles fought, of peace forged, of magic woven into the very fabric of the land." Nivara knelt beside another stone, placing her hand on its surface. As she did, the whispers grew clearer, and she began to understand the language of the stones. "These stones are like guardians of the valley, keepers of its history. They've seen everything, and they remember it all." The valley was a place of great power, and as they explored further, they realized that the stones were more than just witnesses to history, they were also keys to unlocking the valley's magic. Each stone seemed to resonate with a different energy, and when Tobian and Nivara stood between them, they could feel the magic flowing through them, connecting them to the land itself. At the center of the valley, they discovered a large stone circle, with a single massive stone at its center. This stone was different from the others, it was perfectly smooth, its surface reflecting the sky above like a mirror. The whispers here were louder, more insistent, as if the stones were urging them to take action. "This is the heart of the valley," Nivara said, her voice barely above a whisper. "The central stone is a conduit for the valley's magic, but it's been dormant for centuries. We need to awaken it. Tobian nodded, understanding the task before them. Together, they stood before the central stone, their hands outstretched toward its smooth surface. Tobian summoned his magic, weaving it into the stone's dormant energy, while Nivara attuned herself to the whispers, guiding the magic where it needed to go. As their combined magic flowed into the stone, the runes on the surrounding stones began to glow brighter, their whispers turning into a harmonious chant. The central stone absorbed their magic, and for a moment, it seemed as if nothing would happen. Then, slowly, the stone began to pulse with light, the reflection on its surface shifting to reveal images of the valley as it had once been, a place of great beauty and power, where magic flowed freely and the stones sang with life. The ground beneath them trembled as the stone circle activated, releasing a wave of magic that spread out across the valley. The whispers grew louder, turning into a symphony of voices, each one telling a different story. The stones that had lain dormant for so long were now alive with magic, their runes glowing brightly in the fading light. Nivara and Tobian stood in awe as the valley came to life around them. The ancient magic of the place had been reawakened, and with it came the knowledge and power of the past. The stones, now fully activated, began to share their secrets, revealing the history of the valley and the powerful magic that had once been wielded here. "This is incredible," Tobian said, his voice filled with wonder. "The valley's magic is alive again. We've restored it." Nivara smiled, her amber eyes glowing with satisfaction. "This is just the beginning, Tobian. The valley has much to teach us, and its magic will guide us on our journey. But there's more to this place than just its history. The stones are telling us something important." As they listened to the stones, a new message began to emerge, a prophecy, written in the ancient runes and whispered by the valley itself. It spoke of a great challenge that lay ahead, a trial that would test their strength, their bond, and their resolve. The prophecy hinted at a hidden power within the valley, one that could only be unlocked by those who proved themselves worthy. Tobian and Nivara exchanged a determined look. They knew that their journey was far from over and that the valley's secrets would lead them to even greater adventures. With the valley's magic flowing through them, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that they would always have each other to rely on. Together, they stepped forward into the next chapter of their journey, the whispers of the valley guiding their path as they ventured deeper into the unknown.